How's it going, and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Joyo Aquarius Delay pedal. But before I do, please like and subscribe so you can be kept up to date with everything we're doing here at Guitar Effect. And hit that notifications bell too, so you will actually get a notification when we put up a new video. So here is the subject of today's video, the Joyo Aquarius Delay. I picked up this and the equivalent reverb on a free ad site here in Ireland, and they're basically brand new for a pretty affordable price, and I thought they'd be a good subject for maybe a slightly above standard level Joyo pedal and a maybe cool solution to the ambient section of your pedal board for an affordable price. So it's kind of like, you know, it's standard format for a multifunction delay pedal on the market out there at the moment. There's a cool thing about the looper, which I'll go through in a second. But basically, right, you've got your level, time, and repeats. Level, time, repeats. Then you've got this mode selector, which goes between the different modes. Your foot switch for on and off, but if you hold that in, it can act as a tap tempo switch, which is interesting because if you left this on all the time and left it in tap tempo mode all the time and used like a looper, like a, you know, an ES8 or an ES5 or something like that, you could actually use that permanently as a tap tempo switch for this pedal, which is cool. I like that in these pedals. I think the Flashback 2 does the same thing. Then there's this looper switch, which no matter which setting you have the delay selector on, turns on and off the looper, which means you can loop with delay on should you want to. I demonstrate that in the sound section of the video. And then there's the knob select, the mode selector. I'll just tell you what the modes are. So there is digital, analog, tape echo, tube echo, reverse, low bit, galaxy, mod, and then the final switch puts it to the looper. When you put it to the looper, it only acts as a standalone looper pedal. So it's a clever functionality, that little button. I like it. I also think it's a really attractive pedal. It's like contemporary looking without being stupid. I love the type. It's just a really nicely designed pedal. The enclosure's cool. It's got it's like two pieces of bent aluminium. It's really solid and sturdy. So another thing is there's a switch at the back here that allows you to have the light that's all around the periphery of the pedal go on when you switch it on, or be in time with the tap. Currently I have it in time with the tap. So that's it. That's the layout and the function. So let's have a listen to some sounds. Okay, so before I get into demonstrating this pedal, I'm just going to go through my signal chain. So I'm playing my 72 thin line telly, which, by the way, I apologise in advance, is a little bit in need of a service, and the selector switch is a bit pernickety and a bit noisy. So if I'm changing pickups and do a bit of crackle, I apologise. Playing my 72 thin line telly into the Hotone Nano Legacy British Invasion, which is kind of like a micro head that's in the style of an AC30. I'm just going straight in, I'm going straight into the Aquarius and then into the amp, and it sounds like this. And that's with my volume roll back a bit, with my volume on full. Okay, I'm going to start off with a relatively clean sound. So here's the Aquarius and here is the digital setting. Okay, so you can see the repeats are identical to the initial note. So it's a pristine digital delay. Still nice for kind of atmospheric stuff, and probably a little bit too pristine for full-on gain. Sort of gets in the way a little bit there. So I'm going to roll my volume back and just show you that normally what I would use digital delay for is rhythmic stuff, when I don't want modulation on. So, and here's what that sounds like. And with a bit more gain. again, for me, it's maybe a little bit too pristine for that particular application. I also have the, as you can see, I have the level rolled back a little bit. So for that rhythmic stuff, you could possibly roll the level up a bit more, roll the scale back a bit, and you might get even a more rhythmic thing going on. Works pretty well. So that's the digital setting, and I'm going to go over to the analog now. This is actually relatively similar. A little bit more. Okay, so there's a significant amount of top end roll off, and it does have a more analog characteristic to the repeats. Maybe a little bit like a carbon copy. It's much more of that style than like a DM2 or a Memory Man analog delay. Kind of like a modern analog delay. Roll the level back slightly. That works pretty well as like an ambient chordy. And full gain. It's nice for lead passages. Maybe a little bit too much mix. Yeah, works well for that. We go on to the tape echo now, and this starts to have a little bit of modulation. Kind of like the tape sort of degradation roll-off thing. It's going to bring up the time and the level a little bit. So this particular one works well for kind of atmospheric, cleaner stuff. Yeah, really doesn't get in the way. Roll the volume up full. It's worth mentioning at this point that with this delay pedal, I'm more than likely going to spend most of my time in that tape emulation setting. So onto the tube echo, which in theory anyway, the repeats should be get slightly dirtier as they go on. So it's basically an analog echo. Incidentally, that's the tube echo, right? And this is the analog echo. They're very similar. Yeah, it's a little bit dirtier. So I will say that it's a lot more pronounced an effect, and I think that's because the initial repeats are stronger than the tape echo. So if I try to play the same thing as I was playing a minute ago, you can hear the repeat competing with the original note much more than it did on the tape echo. Too much. I mean, obviously you can roll the level of the delay back. So it's a very pronounced repeat no matter what you do. So I'll move on then to the reverse. So I think this is done pretty well. I'll bring the feedback up, maybe bring the time up slightly. Roll my volume up full. Neck pick up. More mix even. For that weird kind of almost sort of Indian sounding. I think reverse delay in general is something that has to be used in a very specific setting, and I think it's really at its best when you can kill the dry signal, which I don't really think you can do here. Let me see. Better with the level up full. It's a respectable reverse delay sound. And we go to low bit, which obviously I've spent a bit of time with this pedal before I made this video, and there's a little bit of sort of ring modulation going on, which is supposed to be bit crushing, but you can kind of hear it coming in on the top end. I mean, if you wanted it for a specific part in a song, yeah, it could be useful, probably in a recording context, but probably not something I would go to a massive amount. But then again, like, I've never sought out a bit crushed delay, so I can't comment on whether I think that's a good version of it or not. Then we have the Galaxy, I think it's called. Yeah, this is interesting, and I think this is something that you could just go to repeatedly for a ambient passage like what I was playing there on the tape delay. There's an interesting sort of lots of different things going on. There's modulation, there's like reverse style or sort of fade up volume delay. It's cool. If I bring the even more sort of ambient sounding passages. Time right, so I'm going to demonstrate the top tempo now actually. So if I hold the button in until it turns red and then hold it in again, it sets the tempo for me. So I think, yeah, in a kind of really moody passage like that, I would go to this Galaxy setting a lot because it's just doing a nice thing. Like, it's present enough to be a notable effect, but not getting in the way of what I'm playing at all. Okay, so that is the Galaxy. Then we go over to the mod, and this is what you would expect. It's a mod delay. Unfortunately, This is probably, now I have high standards because I use a lot of modular delay, both on the HX effects and on my Flashback X4. But for me, this is probably one of the more disappointing, like uninspiring kind of sterile sounds, or just underwhelming. I'll just show you a kind of clean passage. So just to bring the level up a little bit here for our kind of rhythmic part. It's an entirely usable, giggable, modulated delay. I've no issue with that. So if I just up the tempo a little bit, brought the level up, I can do a U2 thing with the modulated delay that's passable. I'd like to have more pronounced modulation in my repeats for that sort of thing. Again, change the tempo a little bit. Again, giggable and passable is what I'd say about that. So I would say the tape delay, the digital delay, and the Galaxy are really usable sounds on this pedal. And I think I could definitely get through an originals gig with the quality of the modulated delay as well, no problem. I think I'd need something with a bit more character for recording. So yeah, there are the sounds. I suppose I'll just demonstrate the looper really quickly, which is hard when you haven't got it on the floor, but I'll show you what I mean. So if I then click on the looper button, the delay is still on, which is interesting, right? So what I can do is I can switch it over to looper, and now it only performs as a looper. So this is interesting. I think it's clever. So I can be in any one of these settings, right? And I'm going to put it back to mod delay, and I can activate the looper and it'll have the delay on. So if I go I'm looping with delay, right? So at any point when you're using delay, you can activate the looper by doing that, which I think is useful. So then the other thing you can do is you can just switch this mode switch over to looper, and then it just behaves purely as a looper. So again, if I go Also an interesting thing worth mentioning, these controls in the looper mode control different things. So tone of the loop, sort of quality of signal of the loop, and then level of the loop. So there you go, there's the sounds of the looper and the delay. So there you go, the Joyo Aquarius delay pedal and looper. I picked this up second hand for €60. I don't know how much they are actually new, but I know they can still be gotten, and I've been relatively impressed with it. I could probably get a Mark 1 flashback for €80 or €90, possibly even less. And I think if I was going to choose between the two of them, the qualities and characteristics of the delay and the flashback are a little better. Just a little bit more detailed, a little bit more inspirational. So I think if I was going to choose between the Aquarius and the flashback Mark 1, I think I'd choose the flashback Mark 1. However, I think the flashback Mark 2, which has a mesh function, would probably be out of the price range of being competitive with this Aquarius pedal. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the demo. It's a decent pedal if you want to have a versatile delay pedal in one stompbox format on your pedal board. So thanks for watching. I've been Rob. You've been watching The Guitar Effect. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon in another video.